The Nebula's Rest Café wasn't much to look at, just another cramped eatery on station Kepler 9, wedged between a ship parts depot and a currency exchange. But to Aaron, it had become the most important place in the entire station. He pushed through the door for the 5th time that week, letting the warm scent of brewing calf and exotic spices wash over him. His heart already beginning its familiar acceleration before he even spotted her. There. Moving between tables with that effortless grace that seemed impossible given the station's inconsistent artificial gravity. Leora. Her orange skin seemed to catch every light source in the cafe, creating a warm glow that reminded Aaron of sunsets he'd seen on Colony Worlds. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a practical braid today, a few rebellious strands framing her face. When she smiled at an elderly couple near the window, Aaron's breath caught like it always did. Table 7 again? Her voice was like wind chimes, soft, musical, with that slight harmonic quality that marked her species. She'd appeared at his elbow without him noticing, amber eyes bright with gentle amusement. It has the best view, Aaron managed, which was absolutely a lie. Table 7 faced a blank wall with a faded poster advertising mining opportunities on Titan 6. Leora's smile widened, revealing those delicate ridges along her jawline that shifted color when she was pleased. Of course. The wall is particularly stunning this time of day. Was she teasing him? Aaron's face burned. I meant, the atmosphere. Good for reading. Hum. She pulled out her small data tablet. The usual? Calf, black, with that earth pastry you pretend to eat while actually just staring at the, she paused, a faint shimmer of deeper orange crossing her cheeks, at your reader? She'd noticed. Of course she'd noticed. Aaron wanted to sink through the deck plating. Yes. Please. Thank you. He sounded like a malfunctioning protocol droid. Leora's expression softened, that radiant warmth in her eyes making Aaron's heart do something acrobatic. Coming right up. As she walked away, Aaron finally allowed himself to breathe. He pulled out his reader, then his small notebook, the paper one, an Earth luxury he'd brought across 3-star systems. Tonight, he decided, watching Leora laugh at something the cook called from the kitchen. Tonight he'd finally be brave. He just needed to find the right words. The evening shift settled into its familiar rhythm. Leora moved through her section with practiced efficiency, but her attention kept drifting to table 7. Aaron was there again, hunched over his reader, occasionally scribbling something in that ancient paper notebook he carried. She'd noticed him the first time he came in 6 weeks ago, hard not to notice someone who stared at the menu for 10 full minutes before ordering the simplest thing on it. But it was the third visit when she'd really seen him, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled, how he always said please and thank you like they were precious gifts, the gentleness in how he handled everything, even his coffee cup. And yes, she'd caught him watching her. More than once. It made her skin shimmer with colors she couldn't quite control, warm ambers and soft golds that betrayed every flustered feeling she tried to hide. Her coworker Jess had teased her mercilessly about the human at table 7 who makes you glow like a sunset. Now it was late, the dinner rush over. Aaron was one of her last customers, still nursing the same calf, still writing something with intense concentration. When he finally stood, Leora felt an unexpected pang of disappointment. Same time tomorrow, she told herself. He always comes back. She approached his table to clear it, and that's when she saw the payment chip, and something else. 5 credits sat beside his empty cup. Not much, but Aaron always tipped, even when Leora suspected he was traveling on a tight budget based on how carefully he ordered. But beneath the plate, there was paper. Folded into a small square. Leora glanced around. The cafe was nearly empty. Heart suddenly pounding, she unfolded it. The note was decorated with tiny hand-drawn stars, each one carefully rendered in blue ink. The handwriting was neat but slightly shaky. If you ever want someone to admire your smile the way the galaxies admire their suns, Meet me by the viewing window at dusk tomorrow. I'll understand if you don't come. But I had to ask. Aaron. Leora's skin blazed with color, gold, coral, even hints of pink. Her hands trembled slightly as she read it again. Then again. He'd drawn stars. For her. She pressed the note to her chest, trying to calm her racing hearts, both of them, anatomically speaking. Through the cafe window, she could just see Aaron's retreating figure, hands shoved in his pockets, shoulders hunched like he was bracing for rejection. Tomorrow at dusk. She was absolutely, definitely, without question going to be there. Leora changed her outfit 3 times before her shift ended. First too casual, then too formal, finally settling on the deep blue tunic that her sister swore made her eyes look like captured starlight. She'd left her hair down, blonde waves falling past her shoulders, and tried to ignore how her skin kept flickering between nervous yellows and hopeful golds. "You're glowing like a pulsar," Jess observed, grinning. "Must be some viewing window you're headed to." "Quiet," Leora muttered, but she couldn't suppress her own smile. The viewing window was on deck 9, a massive transparent panel that overlooked the shipping lanes and the distant nebula that gave the cafe its name. Leora arrived 5 minutes early, her courage wavering with each step. What if this was a misunderstanding? What if she'd read too much into a simple note? What if... "You came." She turned. Aaron stood near the observation rail, backlit by the purple and blue glow of the nebula. He held 2 steaming cups, and his expression was pure wonder mixed with terrified relief. "I hoped you'd come," he continued, voice soft, taking a tentative step closer. "Because I wanted to give you this in person." He handed her one of the cups, the good imported calf from Earth, the expensive kind she'd mentioned once, weeks ago, that she missed from her training days on the homeworld stations. He'd remembered. And this. From his jacket pocket, he pulled another folded note, offering it with shaking hands. Leora set down her cup to take it, their fingers brushing. Aaron's breath hitched audibly. She unfolded the paper, and her vision blurred slightly as she read. "May I get to know the girl whose smile made me stay?" Below it, more of those carefully drawn stars. "And at the bottom, every time you smiled, I felt like I'd found home." Is that strange? I'm sorry if this is too much. I just couldn't leave without asking. When she looked up, Aaron was watching her with such naked hope that her skin bloomed into the brightest gold she'd ever produced, warm light practically radiating from her. "I noticed you too," she whispered. "Every time you came in. Every terrible excuse about the view from table 7. Aaron laughed, the sound shaky with relief. "It really is a terrible view. The worst." Leora stepped closer, clutching his note. "I kept hoping you'd. I didn't know if you." She paused, then decided on honesty. "You made me nervous." "The good kind." "The good kind," Aaron repeated, smiling that gentle smile that had undone her from the start. "I can work with the good kind." They stood together by the viewing window as the nebula shifted colors, violet to crimson to deep blue, painting them both in its ethereal light. Aaron had imagined this moment 100 different ways, rehearsed a dozen opening lines. Now, with Leora actually here, glowing gold and holding his note like something precious, his mind went completely blank. "So," Leora said finally, her smile teasing but warm. "Tell me something true. Why did you really keep coming back?" Aaron huffed a laugh. "You want honesty? The first time I saw you, I walked past the cafe 3 times before I worked up the courage to go in. Then I ordered something I didn't even want because I was too nervous to actually read the menu. The Krillian stew." Leora's eyes sparkled. "You ate maybe 2 bites and looked mildly terrified the entire time." "It was very purple," Aaron defended, making her laugh, that musical sound he'd been hoping to hear up close. "But you were kind about it. Brought me water without me asking." didn't make me feel stupid for not knowing what half the menu items were. You weren't stupid. Just human. She touched his arm lightly, tentatively. We get travelers through here all the time. Most barely look at us, we're just the service, you know? But you saw me. Every time. You'd ask how my day was and actually wait for the answer. Aaron covered her hand with his, heart hammering. Your day was usually long but good. Once it was exhausting, but there was this human who tried Krillian stew, so at least I got to laugh. You remember that? Her skin shimmered warmer, that coral pink hue creeping in. I remember everything you've told me. He turned to face her fully. Your favorite color is the blue-green of your home planet's oceans. You have 2 sisters and a brother who's training to be a pilot. You sing when you think no one's listening during closing shift. He stopped, suddenly worried he'd revealed too much of his careful attention. But Leora was staring at him with wonder. I didn't think you heard me singing. I always stayed late on Thursdays, Aaron admitted quietly. Your voice, it's beautiful, Leora. Her name felt right on his tongue, intimate and perfect. She must have felt it too because her breathing quickened, both hearts visible in the pulse at her throat. Ask me, she whispered. Ask me what you wrote in that first note. Ask me properly. Aaron took both her hands, the nebula painting them in starlight, and found his courage. Would you let me admire your smile? Not just across a cafe, but here, like this. Would you let me know you, really know you? Yes. The word was barely a breath, but it transformed everything. Leora's skin blazed with the most radiant gold, warm and luminous, and Aaron realized he was grinning like an idiot and didn't care even a little bit. Yes, he repeated, needing to hear it again. Yes, you impossible romantic. Leora laughed, squeezing his hands. Did you really draw all those stars yourself? I'm terrible at drawing, Aaron confessed. Each one took like 5 minutes. There are 37 of them total. You counted? I drew them, didn't I? He rubbed the back of his neck, embarrassed. I wanted you to know I was serious. That this wasn't just some passing thing because I'm lonely on a station far from home. Leora reached up, her fingers hovering near his face, asking permission. When he nodded, she touched his cheek gently. Why stars? Because you shine, Aaron said simply. Every single time I see you, you're the brightest thing in any room. And I thought, maybe if I could give you stars, you'd know that I see that. That I see you. Her amber eyes were suspiciously bright. That might be the most perfect thing anyone's ever said to me. I have more, Aaron offered. I've been writing things I want to tell you for weeks. It's extremely embarrassing. There are pages. Pages, Leora repeated, delighted. Show me. I want to see all of it. So Aaron pulled out his battered notebook, and they sat together on the viewing bench, shoulders touching, while he showed her his secret collection, sketches of the cafe, terrible poetry about orange skin and golden light, a list titled Things That Make Leora Smile, that was 2 pages long. She read each one, her colors shifting through the entire spectrum of joy, gold to coral to soft amber to that brilliant pink that Aaron was learning meant she was truly, genuinely happy. Number 43, she read aloud. When someone thanks her, she does this little surprised blink like she can't believe people notice her. I do not do that. You absolutely do that. Well. She turned to him, eyes dancing. You notice everything, don't you? About you? Everything. Leora closed the notebook carefully, setting it aside. Then she took both his hands again, the nebula swirling behind them like a cosmic blessing. I want to know everything about you too. I want to know why you're traveling alone, what Earth is really like, why you always order calf black when I can tell you'd prefer it sweet. I want to hear your terrible poetry and see all your lists. It's a deal, Aaron whispered. Though I should warn you, the poetry gets worse. Good. I'll write you terrible poetry back. We'll be awful together. And there, by the viewing window, with the stars and nebula as their witnesses, Aaron leaned forward slowly, carefully, giving her every chance to pull away. But Leora met him halfway, her lips soft and warm, tasting faintly of the imported calf and something sweet, something entirely her. When they parted, both breathless, Leora was glowing so bright that passing station workers glanced their way and smiled. So, Aaron murmured against her temple, same time tomorrow? Same table? Table 7, Leora agreed, has officially become my favorite spot in the entire galaxy. And under the scattered light of distant stars, with a $5 tip and a handful of hand-drawn constellations, two lonely hearts found their way home to each other at last. The end.